Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. If you're listening to this on Saturday when it debuts, much appreciated, of course. Love the reviews that you leave for the show. Thank you very much. We're getting started with our weekend house calls. This is where I answer all of our community's questions. Each and every weekend, we get to 6 on Saturday, 6 on Sunday for a dozen questions answered for the weekend. Really all things wellness, weight loss, anti-aging. I hope that you've been joining us for years now. If you haven't, that's okay. You can go back to previous shows at stephencabral.com/podcasts and even choose your favorite category now as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive right into today's show. And today's first question is from Anonymous. Anonymous is writing in. They wrote in on, September 11th. So again, about 7 weeks or so behind right now. Anonymous wrote, I have herpes simplex virus 1, genital based, and used to have a flare-up once a year. Then when I developed Candida problems, it has been 3 to 4 times a year. After getting the vaccine, I now am having outbreaks every 2 to 4 weeks. For the last 6 months, I've completely changed my diet to mostly meat and veggies to keep the right ratio of lysine, arginine in my body. I drink ACV with GSE and cayenne daily. I run 3 times a week, get enough sleep, take a multivitamin, etc. I cannot figure out what else this is to increase the outbreaks. Is it with a link when I got the shot? I have a stressful job, but I've had that stress for years. I feel like I'm starting to become depressed on how often I get these outbreaks. Any other recommendations you have? Love the podcast. Appreciate any advice. Okay. Happy to help with this. And again, I'm not saying to either get the vaccination or not get it. I'm not giving that advice. All right. What I am saying is if you do get it, it could absolutely and is supposed to increase immune response, at least for a certain period of time. So Anonymous, it could be linked. There's no doubt about it because it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is increase immune-based response. Now, you don't necessarily want a herpes immune-based response, but nonetheless, it could be what's happening. So what we need to do, and it doesn't sound like you have maybe listened to my show on how to destroy viruses. That was the name of the show. So if you want to go back to stephencabral.com /podcast, let's see if we can find it together. And I'm just going to type in quotations, how to destroy virus. And we'll see if it comes up right away. I think it's like 800 something. Let's see if it pops up. All right, episode 760, how to destroy viruses, herpes, shingles, and cold sores. All right, so that is the show for you. It will go through the protocols that I use. Remember, I can't link up supplements on a podcast because when you talk about diseases, can't link up to supplements on the same page. Okay, that's FDA, FTC regulations. So you'll be able to find them though. But definitely you're going to want to look into zinc, L-lysine. It sounds like you're using it. But honestly, if you're trying to do it through food alone, it's not going to happen. We just don't see it happen very well in our practice. So larger amounts of the L-lysine, the colloidal silver, vitamin C, zinc, GSE. You're doing a lot of them. Don't know if you're doing the right dosages. So there's that. And then you're going to want to look at overall gut function. It seems like you're trying to avoid Candida issues and maybe even bacterial overgrowth through diet alone. Again, I can't recommend that. It's not going to get to the underlying root causes. I would run the bacteria and parasite stool test, and I would also run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test. Those are at stephencabral.com /labs. That's my highest recommendation. And you'll be able to get rid of it, no doubt about it. All right. Shelly's up next. Hi, Doc. Thrilled to have this resource to guide my health. Thank you for your selflessness. I'm hoping you can help me with the supplements I'm taking. I'm feeling I'm double dipping and not taking them at the correct times, but it's easiest to take them after I after my breakfast with a smoothie. I'm 44 years old, 5'5", 130, very healthy. I train 3 times a week, hit training 2 days a week, rest 2 days. My workouts are 30 minutes a day. I start my day with a smoothie, almond milk, daily nutritional support, and lots of fruits and veggies. I'm almost 100% dairy-free and gluten-free. I get 7.5 to 9.5 hours of sleep and fall asleep within 2 minutes. I fast from 7:30 at night to 11:30 most days. Do one 24-hour fast a month. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis 3 years ago and changed my nutrition immediately. I found out 2 years ago that I have a hole in my heart and was probably born with. 14 years ago, I began getting ocular migraines every 2 years. Weird. I haven't had one in 2 to 3 years now. I take pure curcumin with biopterin. I take vitamin D, Nordic Naturals, omegas. I take an aspirin, magnesium oxide. Yeah, these are not... So I can't give you a protocol based on just reading what you sent to me. It seems like you're doing so much right. So first of all, you're doing so much right. So you're doing an amazing job, Shelly. But these are not products that I'm typically recommending on a daily basis. I don't necessarily recommend a straight curcumin product unless you need that as an anti-inflammatory. You know that you have good balanced blood sugar. I recommend way more omega-3s than you're taking right now, especially for someone with autoimmune issues and inflammatory-based issues. I don't recommend magnesium oxide unless you're using it as a laxative. I recommend full-spectrum magnesium. So, I mean, here's the thing. It's impossible for anybody to tell you what to use. Now, having said that, I always recommend the Daily Foundation Protocol, level 2 or level 3, and the Immunity Protocol every day. I use it every day myself. That just gives you a baseline of everything that you need, right? But if you're talking about extras of things, then you really want to run the starter kit, because the starter kit, or ideally the big 5, which is going to tell your omega-3s as well. Because if you're in an omega-3 test right now, I don't think you'd be a 3-to-1 ratio. I really don't. No, it's just not enough. It's not that that's a bad brand. It's just not enough omegas. That's all. And, vitamins and minerals, I need to see you on the Daily Foundation Protocol. Then you run the starter kit or the big 5. And then we would go up or down based on your unique needs. Because you do train 5 days a week. You're getting good sleep. Sounds like your diet's good. I mean, it sounds like you're doing great overall. So maybe everything's perfect. But again, I can't tell you exactly, and neither can any health practitioner. All we can do is give you a foundational protocol, and then you kind of go from there. And I would definitely switch out that magnesium oxide for full spectrum magnesium because you want to absorb it to a far greater degree. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. You can find all the labs that I'm talking about at stephencabral.com/labs. Deanna is up next, or Deanna. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I had some recent blood work done and it came back with low ferritin and low white blood cell count. My herbalist said to get a COVID antibody test, which may account for the lower white blood cells. The test was negative. I'm wondering what other causes it might be. In addition, I've had random bruising, and I'm just going to go to my podcast page because I believe I answered this before, but we will find out. Sorry about that. In addition, I have also had random bruising. Seems to have mysteriously started since my partner received his vaccine. I have not taken it myself. On a side note, you have answered my question about fever blisters in the past. I determined that I would get them anytime I was in the vicinity of a cell tower. I started researching EMF sensitivity and found that glutathione and NAC are both helpful for mitigating the effects of EMFs. I have not had one fever blister since taking those 2 supplements. Curiously enough, I also found out these 2 supplements help. I can't say that because it's not necessarily true. Coincidence. Thank you for your podcast. Okay. I have to be careful what I say about this virus because I can't state things that aren't necessarily true. But EMFs are a real issue for a lot of people, right? So I might be around EMFs. Maybe nothing happens to me. Another person might get blisters. It's a different based on the person. For you, it sounds like it's not just about glutathione and NAC, N-acetylcysteine, which both, by the way, are great products. It sounds like you might have a very full rain barrel. So you can take a free assessment at stephencabral.com/assessments and actually click on the toxicity quiz. It is possible that you need to do a good 21-day functional medicine detox. And you can find the one I recommend at stephencabral.com/detox. It includes NAC, it includes glutathione, but what's going to happen is it's going to provide a lot more phase 1, phase 2 nutrients. All right, but let's see if we can go help you out with the bruising. Can definitely be low vitamin C. Again, you can run the Big 5 or the starter kit. The starter kit will look at your, same with the Big 5, but it contains a test called the Candida Metabolic and Vitamins test that will actually look at your vitamin C levels, because it very well could be low. So I shared this actually in a Friday review. It takes very little vitamin C to improve your overall bruising and gum bleeding and those types of things. So if you're not already using something like the Daily Foundation Protocol, level 2 or level 3, plus the immunity protocol, I would definitely do that. In terms of the low ferritin, it's good that you had this tested. If yours is low, when you look at low ferritin, you're just talking about what? An iron deficiency, a straight iron deficiency. However, iron needs, it needs specifically vitamin C, but its cofactors are also calcium, magnesium, zinc, and copper, to be able to get into the cells. And besides that, and I almost left this out, B12, folate, B6, to be able to actually oxygenate those blood cells. Now, let's say that you have an overall low white blood cell count. It could mean that you do have a virus right now, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a COVID virus, right? It could be a herpes-based virus. It could be an Epstein-Barr virus. It could be some other type of virus, right? Could be a bacterial infection. It could be high levels of stress. And it doesn't sound like you're probably this person, but diets high in processed food can also lower white blood cell count. So I just wanted to let you know that those are different reasons for lower white blood cell count. But again, I can't give medical advice. So you'd want to check with your PCP who ran that blood work for you. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. Ryan is up next. I've been suffering from toenail fungus for over a year. I've done the oat and the mycotoxin combo testing and showed good results. Low normal yeast, fungal and mold levels. I've been taking a healthy diet for years, done the CBO, and followed the diet. I've tried foot soaks, topical creams, ointments, essential oils, and literally dozens of toenail fungus remedies, and can't beat this thing. I've done extensive ozone, rectal and topical, H2O2 therapy, IV vitamin C, nail fungus laser removal, and more. Nothing has worked to eliminate the toenail fungus. I don't have any symptoms, any fungal issues anywhere on the body. I am at this point of trying 2 different types of antifungals for medication. I've been reluctant up to this point due to the potential side effects, but I feel I've exhausted virtually all natural health options, and they do have a high success rate. I'm not looking for any medical advice, simply your personal opinion on taking oral antifungals and what you would do in this situation, hypothetically speaking, of course. All right, well, yes, of course, I can't give you any medical-based advice, but it sounds like you've really gone through the protocols. You've done your lab testing, you've done the CBO protocol, so you've gotten rid of any internal yeast overgrowth. And then you've done your topical treatments, your grapefruit seed extract, your baking soda soaks, your apple cider vinegar soaks, your tea tree. You've gone through, all the different things that you may be using. Well, this certainly seems like a localized fungal-based issue. And if it's not possible to scrape that fungal-based infection off of the nail, if it's not possible to cut away the part of the nail that may be infected because it's lower near the nail bed, then you've exhausted a lot of your natural health-based options. It doesn't mean that it still may not go away on its own in the future, but you may decide to use these antifungals. The only good news I can say about a lot of antifungals is that they are not typically harming a lot of other aspects of the body. And the reason is that they're not antibiotics. They're not antibacterials. They can be hard on the liver. I'm not going to say that they're not, but if I had my choice between taking an antifungal and an antibiotic, I would take the antifungal. Now, of course, they do totally different things. So I'm not giving medical advice, but I'm just trying to give our friend here, Ryan, a little bit of help. And just remember, if you do take the antifungal, I would simply take along with it the clean gut probiotic and the healthy gut support for 30 days. All right. Lily's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Do you have any advice regarding back acne in male adults? My husband has been experiencing a lot of acne all over his back, shoulders, and chest. Some are very deep and some are blackheads. We have tried soaps for sensitive skins and also acne body washes and spray that contains salicylic acid. Could it be something in his diet? I tried to search your podcast, but I couldn't find anything on the subject. Thank you so much for your time and wonderful podcast. Thank you, Lily. Appreciate the kind words. Happy to help in this regards. It could definitely be hormonal and it could definitely be digestive, or it could be both. We are going to want to at least start with, so there's a couple things you could do. One, you could just start with the big 5 labs and look at gut function, look at testosterone levels, look at overall hormone levels, look at his omega-6s to his omega-3s. All of that's super important. So if you can run the big 5, I would run the big 5. If you can't run the big 5, then I'd run the starter kit. All right. Now, that's the first step. Second step would be, if needed, you'll do the CBO protocol plus the citricidal drops. Then you'll do the CBO finisher to rebalance the gut. That's a good part right there as well. Now, the other part is looking at overall hormone production and its conversion from testosterone to dihydrotestosterone or even estrogen. So at this point, we might use a product like Estrogen Balance. We'll want to make sure that we're getting enough magnesium in the body, and also that we're starting with a 21-day functional medicine detox after you're on the labs, because it's very possible that the diet could be too high in inflammatory-based foods, too high in omega-6s, and maybe even in processed foods. I think that this would help tremendously, at the very least, it would be much, much healthier, of course, getting people right on that good track of eating and intermittent fasting. So, Lily, those are my suggestions. If I talked fast, which I did, you can rewind, play it again. All right. Chelsea's up next and last today. Chelsea says, hi, Dr. Cabral, fellow Bostonian living down under in Australia, sharing your podcast far and wide down here. Thanks for all you do. You're truly amazing at what you do and so generous to share your in-depth knowledge with the community. Thank you, Chelsea. Appreciate that. I just started the limited use protocol after reviewing my labs with your team. Leading up to now, I've often used a quality flavorless collagen protein beef gelatin powder made of bovine hides, as I'm mostly plant-based but struggle to digest plant proteins. Would this disrupt the CBO limited yeast protocol or hinder my results? I often put it in smoothies as I like that it's tasteless, which I like, but don't want to compromise the freshness, unflavored taste of the fruit and veggie in the smoothie. Also, just curious why things like nuts and seeds and red meat and bone broth aren't allowed during the limited yeast protocol, as I wouldn't have associated them with high yeast. Thanks again for all you do and spending your time with the community. All right, well, I'm not able to look up the collagen product that you're using. However, I have a whole podcast on the different types of collagen, and I would love to be able to share that with you. But I don't know that I'm going to be able to find it in this moment. But if you head to stephencabral.com/podcasts, and let's say we type in collagen, hydrolyzed collagen. That's definitely one. Let's type in collagen peptides. Let's put that in quotations. See if we can find it real quick. Collagen, there it is. Episode 1950. What's best? Collagen versus collagen peptides versus gelatin. So I think you'll want to check out that show, Chelsea. Maybe you already have. And what I'd like to share with you is this, that the reason why nuts and seeds and bone broths and collagen, well, not necessarily collagen, but like collagen protein's a different story because it's a lot of it, is not on the beginning of the sensitive gut guide. It's just for the first 21 days, by the way. It's not for the whole thing. Is that it's a sensitive gut guide as well, meaning those foods don't necessarily feed yeast, but they're higher and can be higher in lectins or histamines. So we eliminate them for 3 weeks, and then we slowly add one back at a time and see how your body does with them. That's all. So collagen, like we use advanced collagen support, which is much lower histamine. The more collagen protein that you use, then the more histamines there's going to be. And that's the only issue. So if you don't have an issue with histamines per se, then it could be totally fine for you. And I have no issues with you using it. All right. So again, I'll leave that up to you since I don't know your protocol. I do want to say that it's probably not going to cause any issues whatsoever if you're not an allergy, asthma, skin rash, histamine type person, right? Migraines, those types of things. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. And before you go, I want to make sure that you know about the amazing giveaway over at Equalife. Equalife is our virtual functional medicine practice where we help people all over the world. And we've been doing so since about 2017 when I began to slowly move my Boston-based practices online virtually so we can help more people through the power of the internet. So one of the things that we like to do on a weekly basis, as much as we can, we like to share with people a lot of our favorite products. And one of those products that the community has absolutely been loving are our new CBD gummies. These are 10 milligrams per gummy, and they're the only gummies that I know of, literally anywhere, that do not have any artificial colors, which means no artificial dyes, no paints in them, anything like that, and they have no artificial flavors. So they are the cleanest CBD gummy on the market, and they deliver 10 milligrams per gummy. Most adults will have 4 gummies at one time, and although you'll want to work with your health practitioner, if you have a child using cannabinoids as part of their protocol, they of course could start with a half or 1, and that is up to you, of course, as a parent. But we are giving away our watermelon flavored CBD gummies right now on all qualifying orders over at Equalife. Of course, I think you should take advantage of this. It's an amazing product, and it's absolutely free. So it's a great price. I believe they are it's a $49 value. Yours completely free. Head on over to stevencabral.com/Equalife, and you will be able to see this offer while supplies last. Again, it's stevencabral.com/Equalife, and Equalife is EQUILIFE. Take care.